guys, so I'm going to be doing a talk through my manga. Yes, it's unusual. Yes, it's not obviously what everybody would expect. As I usually do a hair change, I do have one coming. Obviously, it'll be of me going raids. So just bear with, it is coming. But I wanted to talk about my manga a bit because basically I've been collecting over 4 years. And it's just growing, and now that it seems to be a bit more like sort of kind of normal, so not, you don't have to keep it quite secretive, I thought let's give this a go. Okay, so obviously I've been collecting 4 years, and the piles have just grown and grown and grown. But I started off just as I finished high school. So about 4 or 5 years ago, and the first one I picked out was this one, and obviously because it was free for 2, I got this one, followed off with the next 3 volumes. I went in not knowing anything about it. So, nothing on the story. I had watched the film, but the film I didn't like it. So, bought these. And then, I liked it. Okay, so the 3 that I've got is called Alice in the Country of Clovers, The Cheshire Cat Waltz. This is a 7-volume collection. This is not the only collection for this. So basically, the writer, I know there was 3 main books, and I think these. So you've got Cheshire Cat, you've got where she goes off with Ace, the Joker, etc. All characters within Wonderland, and it just tells you the story of that, of who she goes with, why. Some a bit longer than others, i.e. this one. So compared to the Cheshire Cat, the Ace of Hearts is tight, so that is just covers 1 volume compared to the 7. Obviously I would show the 7, but I can't fit in my hands. So that is that. I know it's not a big on people's collection, and I know it's not a big story for amongst people. However, my collection just shows my interests. I'm not big up on what everybody else has got. So stuff like, what was it? Berserk, Agent, that type of stuff. I'm very with the soppy. Confusing? I know. So, Alice, you was my first. This proceeded on to this day because I first thought, there's only 7 volumes. So after I got the 7 volumes, my next go-to was Vampire Night. Now again, this is a long series. The only reason why I picked this out is because my mate turned around and said, you need to read it because the anime doesn't do it just. It's a lot longer and there's a lot more. So I went and I picked out the first 3 volumes. I then went to Tokyo Toys up in Birmingham to then pick out the remaining few. So I think I had up to 3, and I did, and then I picked out the last 4, and I got those. Was it? No, it wasn't the last 4, because so anyway, last 3 or 4, I can't remember. It was 4 years ago. So this one was my next one. I have not fully read it because I want to get the whole collection first. That is my goal with them. I do not read anything until I have the full collection, which is going to take some time with a lot of these. I found this out the hard way when I first started collecting Alice, because obviously not only was there the 7 volumes of this, you had others. So you had ones called Ace of Hearts, you had So it wasn't just clothing he went into, but you had the Alice in the Kingdom of Heart, Alice in the Kingdom of Joker, and I'm still collecting that series to this day because it's so big, it's so long. So anyway, back to Vampire Night. Watch the anime. I absolutely loved it. Even though how it turns out, I think it's in my bookmark from when I actually started reading it. So even though how it turns out and everything, I recommend. It's shoujo. I think it's shoujo. No, it's showbeat rather. So this is one that I recommend to read or watch if you can. Depends on where you go. I used to be able to watch mine on YouTube, but however, a lot of stuff got taken down and everything. So anime wise, anything that I suggest, you can try and find it on YouTube if it's still there. Crunchyroll or Funimation. They're the three that I know of. You can also get some of the stuff on DVD or Blu-ray. This is one of them. Oh my days. Right, so that's Vampire Night. So those were the two collections I had. I had those for a very long time, and I didn't think or plan to get any more until I went on holiday. And I came across a little bookshop. And I went in, and you'd think, oh, bookshops, nah. However, this one surprised me because it actually had manga. And this is what it was. Absolute Boyfriend. There was the 3 volumes. Now, I never heard of this. There is not an anime series, as I know of. And it had really baffled me, because I was like, okay, I've never heard of it, seen it, or anything. So I had a quick flick through, and I was like, okay then, I'll take it to read. And I liked it. It basically talks about this girl. I don't know if it's got a picture of her. So basically, let's see if I can find her. So here we go. So I'm going to open up to the first page. So this girl right here, she likes her neighbour, and she has a crush on her neighbour I think it's her neighbour, or someone in her class. I haven't read it in a while. And basically, she has a crush on him, and she really, really, really likes him, but they never get together. So with how she's feeling and everything, and being and stuff being said to her in school and that, and with her parents working abroad, she comes across this service where it's a bit like Rent a Girlfriend, I think. I've never read Rent a Girlfriend, but from what I've heard, it's a little bit like that. So anyway, the guy in the front is, they say he's a doll, but he's too human-like to be a doll. So this is the guy she gets. Throughout the series, it explains how she came to be, how they like each other, and things go on. There was a bit of a complication because some others like him, and then he goes off with her, but stuff comes back. And then, like, her best mate, who is a guy, also has a thing for her. So that is just basically a summary of it all. Now, after I read the 3 volumes, I was like, okay, let me have a look to see what I can find. I purchased 4, 5, and 6. Now these are the last ones. It's funny. You got that teenagey romance, and it's one that I do recommend. If you're like, basically, if that's what you're looking for, romance, a bit of fun, etc. If you've ever seen It's a No Kiss, this is a good one to read. I'm trying to think what else. Let me think. Very sort of like any sort of romantic-y type of stuff. Like Vampire Night, Absolute Boyfriend, My Little Monster, stuff like that. They're good to read. and I never thought I'd enjoy it, never thought I'd collect it, never thought I'd end up with sitting with the whole full volume, but hey ho. So then after that, I then went, what we're up to, November. So November came about, and from there, from there my collection grew. Sorry, I can't get my words out. And basically, in November and about March, in the UK, we have this thing what's called Comic-Con. Don't know if I said that right. Please don't hound at me. And basically, I went there. And there was an anime series that I watched. It's not even a series, it was a film. There was a film that I watched and I fell in love with. And it was called Silent Voice. And the story base, it talks about a girl who she's deaf, and basically how her life goes off, and another guy in her classroom, and the effects of bullying and what can happen. And so it starts off them with like really, really young, and it shows bits in classroom, and then it'd be like after so long, it will mainly show the guy and what he goes through. So he went through a lot of bullying and everything. He went through a lot of unacceptance. And then when he reached sort of older teen, he'd then try to obviously commit suicide. Doesn't work. But then he comes and meets Shoko. Shoko is the deaf girl. And she obviously is very scared. He explains, and obviously they get to know each other again, and they become friends. Where did I put it? So, I like this. I found it to be very, very relatable. So, off I went to Comic-Con. And obviously when you're there, you've got all the the different stores, action figures, collectibles, etc. And I found a massive manga store, and out of curiosity I went and looked, and I found the complete collection manga version of A Silent Voice. I haven't fully read this yet because I was still fresh off the film, but I liked it a lot. It was very relatable for me and how things work. So I recommend you read the manga and watch the film, because it pulls on your strings. It really does. And for how relatable it is with life, with bullying because of having like a disability, for being different, for having social anxiety, for having differences, things that you do or don't like, getting jealous of people because how they seem very like confident with themselves even though they have flaws. It is really in depth. It is one that I recommend to pursue if need be. So I do have the full collection. I am running out of space. So they were my mates. Now after this, I sort of took a massive break and sort of read bits, sort of read stuff, and I was like, okay, yeah. I then found out that two very heavy animes I watched were in manga form, and that is Maid-sama and Skip Beat. Maid-sama, I've books 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 9 and 10, 11 and 12 and 13. 11 and 12, 13. Oh my gosh, I'm missing one. And 15 and 16. So I am missing 2. when I found this out, I was very excited. Went up into Birmingham for a day out, went into Tokyo Toys and found it. I then proceeded to buy what was there, and that was 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, etc. The volumes that I have, which is why I am missing some. So again, I haven't fully read it all. I read 1 and 2, and it's just as great as the manga, probably even better. This one is the 2-in-1. I recommend this, and it might be a bit easier to get hold of this than the single volumes, if they did the single volumes. Now, when I was doing my research, I did not come across said single volumes, so that's that. The other that I came across and I liked was obviously Skip Beat. Now, I know they did the single volumes, and I know the anime is incomplete. They did up to book, I think it's 7, 8 and 9. I think they finished up on 9, and basically it's incomplete. And when I found out they did the book version, I was very happy. So from the remaining 3 years, I was on the hunt for this book. Now, the single volumes were going for way expensive, like proper expensive, because they were a lot older. And there was no way for me to get my hands on them, because they wouldn't sell them in the local shop because it was old. So, in a way, they weren't exactly being printed. And it was last year, the year before, it was online, and I found 3-in-1. I was beyond happy. So obviously this is the 3-in-1 version, and yes, it is a lot thicker because obviously it's got volumes 1, 2 and 3, and this will go on until the end. I was so happy. I am still in purchase. This is not complete. I am missing 18, 19 and 20. That is actually on the way, I think. But I have books up to 22, 23. No, I'm mistaken. 25, 26 and 27. So I have up to books 26, 25, 26 and 27. The anime doesn't do it just. I'm just going to say that. The anime, no. Get your hands on the book. If you can, get your hands on it. Because I found this was more intriguing than the anime. It covers a lot more. And I was just more intrigued. I did rewatch the anime, and I was just like, this gives it no just or anything. It only goes to a certain amount, so you don't obviously understand or know the full story. So you have to finish it on the manga. So again, another one I would recommend. So they were the main ones of my collection. There were, however, since then, I have purchased, over these 4 years, I've either gone shopping in Forbidden Planet, Tokyo Toys, I've gone to Comic-Con, I've bought from like second-hand places, or my manga. And it's just grown. eBay has become my favourite place to actually buy my manga. So eBay and what was the other one? Book Depository, 2 favourites. I have not yet proceeded to buy from Right Stuff, but I would like to. I just gotta wait because I'm currently broke. But But yeah, they are really good. But so growing on, obviously my collection expanded. I have 180 in total. More than half I've never read, so I cannot say anything on it because I've never read it. So these are just, so obviously Black Rose Alice, just started, picked up on a whim. This is book 3. I have books 5 and 6. Need to get the rest to read. After School Nightmare, I only have volume 6. Would probably look to see if I can invest in it, probably read it. If not, so I'll see if somebody else wants it. Gacha. Never in my life heard of this one. When I came across it, it was the first, never read it, don't know what it's about. Haven't even got a clue, haven't even done any research, haven't even bothered even looking at the blurb. It just got put in my collection and put away. A Devil and Her Love Song. I've just been able to get the first volume recently. But this is... So I got this second hand and I didn't realise until I've just opened it. There's a form thing you can fill out here. See if it's in one of the others. Let's have a look. No, it's not. It's not in this one. What the hell? Oh my god, it's not in that one. Okay, so basically, there's a form thing you can fill out here, I think, where you can basically talk about what manga, how you got into it and everything, and then send it off. There's that, and that's what someone's done. Or it's just been teared out. And they've done their best to basically make it look as best as I can, really. I did thought there was something off with it when it arrived because I bought this one off eBay. But I didn't patch my mind to it. So, another one is Alice 19th. Never read it, don't know what it's about. I haven't got a clue. I'll probably read it at some point. Oh, there's so many. Now, Blood Plus. I watched the manga and I absolutely loved it. I cannot find it anywhere. I watched the anime and I fell in love with it. I love the characters. I love the storyline of it all. And you have no idea how much of a pain it is. I was easy to get hold of the first 2 volumes, which are this one and this one. So these 2, not a problem. I am still in the process of getting the rest. I do have 5, so I am missing 3 and 4. There's a 5 collection, and then from this, there's a couple of others. So this one is Blood Plus. I don't even know what this one is. But basically, I think this is either a continuation on or from when she's a bit younger. Not read it, don't know. This is book 2. I want to get hold of book 1 first before even looking at it. Oh, so many. I just, it fills my bed. My collection does. I'm not even kidding. Like originally high school. Ooh, bookmark, free bookmark. Anyone want a bookmark? Oriani High School Club Host Club. I've watched the manga. I've watched the anime rather. Never read the manga. This is book 11. And don't know much about it in the manga version at all. It's in great condition. I got this in a lot. I just bought a massive lot of manga off eBay, and this was one that came with it. Right. Sailor Moon. I watched the anime. I watched it on the YouTube because I had it on there. I watched all of it. I fell in love. I absolutely loved it. Thought it was great. Tried to purchase the DVD. It's completely different to what I watched. She's not called Serena. She's called something completely different. I don't know if she's called it in here. Let's have a look. I'm just gonna have a quick look. It doesn't even say. Yeah, so it used to be excuse me. So she's not called Sarita. They call it Usagi. Oh God, is it Usagi? Yeah, I think that's how you say it. And that's the version I picked up. I wasn't impressed, but I was like, all right, okay. I found the first volume on eBay. I then found the second volume, first in German, and for the life of me, I couldn't read, and they missold it. So I was quite annoyed at that, but they weren't accepting in returns or anything. So I was like, okay, right. And then a bit later on eBay, I came across the English, so I picked that out. So just the two. My next, as to what I started collecting from sort of like online, would probably have to be Mew Mew. Again, I watched this in my younger teen years, not now, when I first started watching anime. Mew Mew was one of the ones that I watched. So basically, in a way, a lot of the manga that I have, or majority of it, I've probably watched and then pursued the books. Mew Mew is one of them. I have books 1, 2, 3, and 7, so this is an incomplete collection. So I am still looking to complete it. So I do like it. I don't know, it's just quirky, it's funny, I don't know how to explain it really. It's a bit like Sailor Moon, but like it's different in so many ways at the same time. But like, yeah, well, yeah, I think that's as best I'm gonna get close to being able to explain it, because obviously I have not watched it in a long time and I haven't read these, so oh god, that's a big one. So I'm not even gonna bother bringing all of them over here. My next one is Ceres. I've watched this. I absolutely loved it. So basically, it's about, so the girl on the front, it's about this girl, and their family has this, oh, fucking hay fever, man. So the family has this legend about, so basically, the legend basically revolves around this woman called Ceres, who came to Earth and everything, fell in love with a human man, and they had kids. She was not ever able to return to home because she never had a Hagoroma, which she needed. And in the end, her husband turned nasty. She ran off with her children. He hid her Hagoroma because she had left, and it never got found. So many hundreds of years later, whatever it is, so her mum and dad and parents and that are trying to solve it. And basically, it's a bit weird in a way, because at the start you realise that her mum and dad, or brother and sister, they got married to keep the bloodline going, to see if they could pursue and basically get in contact with Ceres. And obviously they did, but which sadly ends up being this girl, and her twin brother ends up being the husband. But as the story, it's very interesting. As the story goes on, she falls in love with this guy. Now it turns out to be he grew from her Hogoroma, and he basically, so through his life stages, he had to adapt in order to survive. And along the way, he went through some trials and everything, lost his memory and everything. But the two of them fall in love. And at the end of the series, you can see them together, and she has a baby. It is good. I finally have the full collection. It took me a while to get. And then, so when I thought I did have the full collection, I was missing one book. Which I think last month I finally found and I bought. So, but this is one that I recommend to watch. If you can watch it, and if you can get your hands on the manga, even better. But I know it's out of print and it's a pain to get a hold of, because it is an old one. I'll see if I can find out when it was published. So this, I don't know, I think this one dated back into the 90s as well, from what I've seen from like the animation and everything. It doesn't actually say, sadly. So from what I can make it, oh, here we go, 1995, there we go. So this is 1995. A lot of my collection is not up, like obviously it's the older one, so this one's 1995. Mew Mew is 2004. So as you can see, a lot of it is older instead of the up-to-date stuff. But I'm getting there. These I collect on the side, and well, these I mainly go after, and the updated stuff is sort of on the side of what I collect. So yeah, all 14 volumes of Ceres, which I will read at some point. Whew, another oldie, and it's a pain to get hold of. It's Fuji. Now, Fuji is a great anime series. I cannot stand Miyaka's voice for the fucking life of me. It's so irritating. But again, another oldie. This isn't exactly based off the storyline of the anime series. So basically, there are 4 gods. Can't remember what they're called, but anyway, 4 gods. And in the first, the anime show goes off with a girl called Miyaka, who ends up being one of them. And she is the god of Suzaku. So basically, she's the spiritual, and she can summon Suzaku. She's one. I can't remember what the other 3 are. But this story it doesn't cover that. It covers one of the 3. Not read it until I'm going to finally fully collect it. So, we'll just have to wait and see. Another old one is Family Boy. Now I just got my hands on this. I'm not too impressed with the condition that it is in. As you can see, it is bent, and there are a lot of stains on some other stuff. But again, this is another old one. I watched the anime. Some of the stuff has becomes a meme. So like, there's certain poses like that one of the dads have done that becomes a meme. But again, this one was great. I watched it, and it talks about becoming of age, parents splitting, then having a new marriage. She wants to be with her stepbrother, and then stuff along the way. Basically talks about how messed up the family is. in a way, and whoever wrote it, like, I'm like, fair play to you for getting that. So not only does it follow their story, the main character story, it also follows the storyline of her best friend in some ways, as their best friend has a student-teacher relationship. And I'm not going to go into much, but it's, yeah. In the end, I think he ends up losing his job. I can't remember what happens with her, or whether or not they end up getting together. I haven't seen this in a very long time. Keep trying to find it. I think it is on Crunchyroll, but obviously I didn't have a full membership with them. So, we'll have to give it a go. If I can find it, I will read this soon. So, yeah. And this is volume 1 of 8. Now, considering that anime has like over 50 episodes, I think it is, something like that. It's a bit weird, it's a bit short. But then I'm like, oh, I look and I'm like, okay, that's how they sectioned that down. Oh, okay, that's how they did that. So, like, it talks bits. So I think like that much is one episode. And they're not long episodes. But again, that's probably why there's so many episodes and why there's so few volumes. I can never work out how it goes and everything with the series. So yeah, that's Marmalade Boy. I picked out The Earl and the Fairy. I think there's only a few volumes of this. This is a story that's underrated. So badly underrated. It's good, and I liked it a lot with the manga and with the anime. I haven't fully finished it, but I would love to, and can't remember how many volumes there are. I have up to 3 or 4. Yeah, 3 or 4, but it is a good one. I think a lot of what I own is like Shobi. So this is Shobi, Absolute Boyfriend is, Vampire Night. Not a lot of it is Shonen Jump, which I'm quite surprised about, but I know there is a bit of if between the two, whether that still goes on, but those are the main 2 that I know that are very popular. And then I've got the odd ones. So obviously the Alice one is 7 Seas. So this was done by 7 Seas. But yeah, it's crazy with the variety I have. So as I said, I'm not big on collecting what's new. I like, if I see it, I'll get it, I'll read it. But there are a lot of older stuff that I much more prefer, although I have started to buy sort of the newer stuff. The last couple of old stuff I do have is this is the problem when you have a small room and you don't have proper storage for them. Okay. These are what I have that are either old, late, or in that category. Oh, I think. Okay. So first up is The End Angel. Never read it, don't know what it's about, haven't got a clue. Never even watched the anime at all, so don't know if I should keep it, might sell it, don't know. I only have volume 1 and 2, so I might see how big it is. I mean, I'll read it, I'll give it a go. If I can't get into it, I'll sell. My next one, and this one is my most expensive, I would say, out of... So these 2 will probably be my most expensive, most valued that I probably own right now, I think. and that is Ghost Hunt. A lot of people slated off on how like sort of bad it is, but it's also like good. I like it. And when I first saw the anime, I liked it. When I found out there was a manga, I was destined, and I was determined to get it regardless. I have books 1 through to 9, and I am also reading through this because how could I not? It's great. It's, yeah, it's just, I have no words. Right, next one is Rosie and the Vampire. This one's a little oldie. Again, still trying to collect. Don't have. Up to either 6 or 7. No, 7 is 7. So I just need to get the rest of it. And I know there's a season 2. Once I have the manga, I will see if I can get the DVD, because I do want to watch it properly and not off like YouTube or dodgy sites, because yeah. But yeah. That's where I'm gonna leave it at. I've been told to go, so I will see you next time.